These words showed that God would be with his people, even in the most difficult and dangerous situations. It was a promise that he would never abandon them, no matter what. Isaiah also spoke about how God would use even foreign kings to help his people. In chapter 45, he mentions a king named Cyrus, who hadn't even been born at the time of Isaiah. In verses 1 and 4, he says, "This is what the Lord says to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I take hold of to subdue nations before him, and to strip kings of their armor, to open doors before him, so that gates will not be shut. For the sake of Jacob my servant, of Israel my chosen, I summon you by name, and bestow on you a title of honor, though you do not acknowledge me." This showed that God had plans for his people's future, even when things seemed hopeless. He would use even a king who didn't know him to help Israel. Isaiah's prophecies of hope and restoration were not just for the people of his time. They continued to be important for many years, giving hope to people in difficult times. In chapter 55, verses 12 and 13, Isaiah says, "You will go out in joy and be led forth in peace. The mountains and hills will burst into song before you, and all the trees of the field will clap their hands. Instead of the thorn bush will grow the juniper, and instead of briars the myrtle will grow. This will be for the Lord's renown, for an everlasting sign that will endure forever." This image of joy and all of nature celebrating showed that the restoration God would bring would be complete and would affect all of creation. Isaiah also spoke about how God would change people's hearts. In chapter 44, verse 3, he says, "For I will pour water on the thirsty land, and streams on the dry ground. I will pour out my spirit on your offspring, and my blessing on your descendants." This showed that the restoration God would bring wouldn't just be external, but also internal. He would change people from the inside, helping them live in a way that pleased him. It was a promise of a deep and lasting transformation. One of the most remarkable aspects of Isaiah's prophecies is how they combined messages about things that would happen soon with things that would take place much later. In chapter 61, which Jesus later read in the synagogue, saying that he was fulfilling those words, Isaiah says, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor.